It's the most anticipated recession ever in the US, and one still has yet to materialize. What's going on here? Here's my theory. Go all the way back to COVID. Remember how the government pumped $5 trillion of stimulus money into the economy that had the effect of spiraling prices and inflation that was running rampant. Over the last year, the Federal Reserve Bank has been combating aggressively the inflation spiral by increasing interest rates from almost 0% to over 5% now. The effect of that, take, for example, a 30-year mortgage, which you could have gotten a few years ago for maybe under 3%. Now it's going to cost you 7.5%, maybe more. Economists were almost all in unison saying, if you aggressively hike interest rates that much in the span of a year, you're going to get a recession. It's just a question of, is it a short and shallow recession or a deep and a long recession? But here we are, a year later, waiting for this recession and still nothing on the horizon. How could this possibly be? To answer that question, you want to keep in mind that the U.S. economy is driven 70% by consumers, by people like you and me who spend every day. If the economy is strong, the consumer is strong. If the consumer is strong, well, the job market has to be strong. And that indeed proves to be the case. Over the last year, we've seen hundreds of thousands of jobs from companies, or I should say layoffs from companies across the country. And yet the unemployment rate still remains pretty resilient. 3.7% is not that far off all-time lows. But this isn't your normal run-of-the-mill tight labor market. This is a tight labor market on steroids. And the steroid infusion into the labor market has to do with pay transparency laws. And maybe you've heard of them. If you haven't, you can watch the video on my YouTube page from a few months ago. Essentially, pay transparency requires companies, when they're hiring and they post a job on a job board, they must include a salary range for that job, a minimum and a maximum salary range. Now, this has disrupted the job market significantly. It's had a profound impact on the pendulum of power in terms of salary negotiation. It has shifted the pendulum of power from advantage company to advantage individual when it comes to negotiating pay. And this is why we've seen people recently getting pay raises when they change jobs, easily 15, 20%. We've seen 30, 40% increases in pay, not uncommon. So these pay transparency laws, although they haven't been talked about much, they're having a huge impact, almost to the point of another wave of stimulus going on in the economy. Instead of COVID-era stimulus, like money shifting from the government to individual consumers, in this case, it's money going from corporate bank accounts to individual bank accounts. This is why the consumer is spending like crazy everywhere you go, restaurant, cruise ship, airlines, everywhere, it's packed. Basically, the job market is on steroids, which means the consumer is on steroids and the economy, therefore, is on steroids. That's why we haven't seen a recession, despite a 500 basis point raise in interest rates over the last year. How long can this last? Your guess is as good as mine. I don't see any signs of this slowing down at all, but I am curious to get your feedback. Are you seeing people slowing down in signs of a recession, or are you still seeing people spending like crazy? I'm David Pinkley. See you soon.